everybody, thanks for tuning in for another cruise with Smooth. Hope y'all are doing okay. It is currently a rainy and bleak day where I'm at. Perfect day to crawl back up in bed and take a nap. So, last show I did, I spoke about my mother jumping in and helping out when my wife got hurt. Give a quick update on her. She's doing okay. All it was bruising. She had a follow-up appointment the other day, and that came back with nothing to be concerned about. They just put her on some light-duty work restrictions. Nothing serious to worry about, so all that's good news. I'm very thankful that she didn't get hurt any worse than she was. The doctor that she seen over the weekend was actually surprised that she didn't get hurt worse than she was due to how she fell. Surprised that there wasn't a fracture somewhere in her leg or somewhere in her wrist catching herself during the fall. Which, I gotta admit, I see it. She was fortunate to come out with just a couple bruises. Don't get me wrong, they're like that big around and purple, but that's all that she got out of a pretty serious fall, all things considered. So, I hope y'all are doing okay through all this. Things have changed a little bit more in my day-to-day life, which are making it somewhat less stressful. It didn't change till today, I think. Yeah. But a little less stressful. Not going to go into the full situation, but it was nice. It's a welcome change from what's been normal for the past few weeks. It was funny when my wife had her doctor's appointment over the weekend. We loaded the kids up in the car and went to her appointment, and then we went through a drive-through, one of our favorite restaurants in that area, with the kids, and just kind of made a half-day outing of it. So I know that they enjoyed getting out of the house for a little bit, even though they tried to drive each other crazy in the car. Just a change of scenery is always welcome. I'm hoping that I can go hang out with my buddy Danny of I'm No Expert at some point soon. He has been recording. We've been recording, I think in the past month, we've recorded 4 or 5 hours worth of content. But nothing has been uploaded yet to my knowledge. He's waiting until he's got a bunch of hours worth of stuff, and he's going to kind of drop it all at once in a season. Sorry, folks, I needed a bite of chocolate. I tell you what, people are so cool during this time, and they suck all at the same time. When I went to that doctor's appointment for my wife with my kids, all of you parents will know that kids have the perfect sense of timing to know when a bathroom is the least good idea and decide right then that they have to go. So, to set the scene, we are at the doctor's office. My wife is in the room actually being seen, and that's when the potty break had to happen. So we take the car and go right across the street to a gas station, and we got something for everybody to drink too, because I make good decisions and want my kids to have to take all the bathroom breaks. And we're standing in the checkout line, social distancing and all that. And at the gas station, right when you walked in the door, there was a hand sanitizer dispenser. You know, walk in the door, you just grab the door handle, pump some hand sanitizer in, do that, and you're good to go. Pretty cool. I think it's cool that a lot of businesses are taking the initiative to help keep their workers and their customers safe. Well, we're standing in the line, and this woman walks in, bumps the hand sanitizer, does her hands, walks around the store real quick, walks back over to the door, grabs her little personal lanyard with Purell on it, opens the cap and starts pumping hand sanitizer into her thing from the gas station, and one of the employees thankfully caught her and called her out on it. And I'm just standing there like, seriously? You're not even paying for that. People are awesome and they suck at the same time. A good friend of mine, my preacher, long story short, his wife had something that she needed me to pick up for my wife today. And I went over to, she just, hey, can you swing by the house on your way home and pick this up? Okay, sure. So I go over there, and she's got her kids over there. They're around my age. None of them have kids yet, although one of them is pregnant. And and so they let me in, and we talked for a few minutes. They're getting ready to have lunch. I didn't stay very long. But he's like, so how are things going with you? I'm like, well, I'm doing okay. Jen's still working. I hadn't done nothing, but, you know, I get to draw unemployment whenever my state actually pays me unemployment, which has been, when did I think the last day I worked, let's see, was the 19th of March, and here we are the 20-something of April, and I haven't received a check yet. I like to blame it on the website, personally. It's not laid out very good, and it caused me problems. But anyway, I told him I hadn't worked, I'm just waiting on the unemployment check, and he handed me a little bit of cash, and I'm like, you don't need to do that, I'm okay. He's like, I know that, but you're doing a lot of driving for stuff. And I'm like, well, that's part of where I live, but people are cool. So that's a brag on my preacher. I know he wouldn't like he didn't do that for recognition, so I'm not mentioning his name, and a high percentage of you don't know the man anyway, so his anonymity remains intact. Unless, of course, this hits off, and then everyone that I go to church with starts following me and listening to my show, and then they all know, but you don't know, so I just thought that was pretty cool. That's one of the things that I hate that went away in the past 10 years, is the sense of community that a lot of people had. And to an extent, I suppose everybody's guilty of it. I am. To an extent, I know that there's things that everybody can do for their friends and neighbors that don't cost a lot, that are easy enough to do that they just don't. And whether it's pick up groceries for shut-ins, whether it's help someone out who might be a little down on their luck. Now, you might be down on your luck too right now. I know that that the unemployment statistics are very real right now. From one unemployment statistic to another, I know they're real. So, but there are a lot of things that people can do that don't cost them anything that help people out. I've had neighbors randomly drop off leftovers that they cooked too much of and didn't have enough mouths to feed it to before it all went bad. I've done odd jobs for neighbors here and there. You know, stuff that just didn't cost you nothing, or that it cost you so little that you never even noticed it. Like, I remember my mother, we had a neighbor lady when I was a kid growing up that never got her driver's license. And she was a older woman. I think when we moved into that house, she was in her late 60s, early 70s, never got her driver's license, never had a need to, didn't want to. So she, this neighbor lady would call my mom and they'd talk on the phone. My mom would go over there and play cards with her. And another thing that my mom would do is she would plan her grocery trips and whatnot around this woman's needs if she needed to get out of the house for anything. She did that for a number of years. I'm trying to... let me think. 10, 11 years. She would just, hey, I need to go to the store. I'm going to call our neighbor. And that, she'd move the car around to the neighbor's house. And I remember as a kid growing up, we'd end up a bunch of times riding around with this neighbor lady in the car, going grocery shopping. Or another thing that this woman and my mother really enjoyed doing was yard sailing. And they'd go around. My mom was a yard sailing ninja. Up at 6:30, 7 in the morning. She still is a yard selling ninja. She does have to take into account her drive time now, but up at 6:30, 7 in the morning, she would route everything out, all the yard sales that she wanted to go to within however many miles of the house. And this was before the days of Facebook and Craigslist being the popular way to find stuff out. And so she would get the Saturday newspaper, and we were in such a spot, she'd go out however many miles from our house on a given day, and she would figure out which yard sale she wanted to go to and in what order to save the most on gas. And she would browse the listings based on what they had in their ad and everything. And she was very serious about it. And she'd give my sister and I typically a certain spending allowance for the day. And she would go for clothes for anybody. She'd go for toys. She'd go for stuff that she needed. She'd take the neighbor lady with her. Just whatever. And it was the best thing ever when I got old enough to stay at home by myself. Because once I had found whatever toy or neat thing I wanted, I was kind of done yard sailing, and I'd hang out in the car, but slowly be going crazy. But do something nice for somebody. Better yet, if you are in a position where you can, teach somebody to do something nice for somebody. In my opinion, the world needs more people that think about other people. So, case in point, before all this craziness got where kids couldn't go into stores and whatnot, on one of my wife's paydays, we went to a store. We didn't spend a lot, but we got stuff to give away. My preacher, his wife owns a small clothing boutique that my wife just loves shopping at. So she had, but anyway, this woman decided to start up something called the Giving Porch. You can come up, drop off stuff in Ziploc bags. They encourage wearing gloves or clean hands, sanitizing, things like that. But they were just giving stuff away. And it was like activity bags for kids, you know, coloring books, crayons. They had a outdoor library where you could bring used books that you were done reading and exchange them. You could take one if you didn't have one anyway. Just kind of no rules, just take what you want, leave the rest kind of thing. So anyway, my wife got the kids together. We went to the store, and they each had so many dollars, and they were buying stuff to give away to other kids that may be in a less fortunate situation. And my kids had a blast picking stuff out. We got Ziploc bags, we got snacks, we got toys, we got other stuff. I had gone out at one point and we bought the better of the bargain bin family movies that you could watch with your kids. And we made kid boxes or kid bags, movie night bags, family bags, things like that, and just gave them away on the Giving Porch. And it was fun to do. The thing that I thought was most fun was on the movie night bags. I had bought, you know, well, they get this many of this many of that, you know, they get, well, these snacks, popcorn, movie, a little card in there, and send it on down the line. And so I had turned the production of this into an assembly line, and my kids were having fun trying to do that and make sure everybody was doing their own part, and they had a ball. So teach your kids to think about other people. Think about other people. Don't steal hand sanitizer or other things. I guess that's kind of the thoughts for today, folks. I hope y'all are doing okay out there. Stay safe in all this. Try not to go too crazy. I know you can't do anything, but something that I thoroughly enjoyed doing is just going for a drive with the family. This weekend, if we don't have anything going on, I might end up putting the kids and the wife in the SUV, and she actually sent me a link for some of the more scenic roads in my state. And we might go find one of them and just tour it. So, y'all stay safe. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in for another Cruise of Smooth. Like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If there's something you want to hear my opinion on, feel free to ask. Take care.